What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Got some unbelievable news to share with you, and there's a lot of it. So let's jump right in. You're not going to believe some of this stuff. Here we go. Okay, first, did the U.S. threaten to, quote, blow up Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing firm if China invades the island? Well, yes, kind of. I know you can't make this stuff up. But yes, this did kind of actually happen, at least as an option, from Congressman Seth Moulton as a proposal. I know, it's unbelievable. And Taiwan defense minister is not happy. He responded to U.S. Congressman Seth Moulton's proposal, stating that the Taiwanese armed forces would not stand for the destruction of any of their facilities. Congressman Moulton recently suggested that the U.S. should warn China by threatening to target Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, if China were to attack Taiwan. During a conference hosted by Milken Institute, a California-based think tank, U.S. Congressman Seth Moulton was asked about the potential deterrent impact of the U.S. chip policy on China. In response, Congressman Moulton suggested that the U.S. should explicitly warn China that targeting Taiwan could destroy the TSMC semiconductor manufacturing company. Says, quote, the U.S. should make it very clear to the Chinese that if you invade Taiwan, we're going to blow up the TSMC semiconductor plant. Now, of course, he went on to say later on that this was only an option if China were to try to take Taiwan and was actually going to do it as a last-ditch result. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this, but basically sending a message to China that if they were actually going to conquer Taiwan and take the island, that they could blow up the semiconductor plants so they wouldn't get the resources there. Basically trying to send a message to China saying, don't take Taiwan, or else we could sabotage the resources there, the semiconductor manufacturing companies. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. Next up, former President Donald Trump, who's all the news right now, urges the Republicans to let a catastrophic debt default happen and let our country default for the first time ever, which would create the largest financial collapse in our country and the world that we've never seen ever. He says, let a catastrophic debt default happen if the Democrats don't accept the massive cuts that the Republicans are proposing. Yeah. You can see here, former President Donald Trump urged Republican lawmakers to let the United States default on its debt if Democrats don't agree to spending cuts.
As you know, the U.S. right now could be just 3 weeks away from defaulting on its debt. That could mean millions of jobs lost, people not getting their Social Security payments. People believe it would put the U.S. economy into a recession. On that topic, I want to bring in Marta Cervella, a student here at St. Anselm. She is an undeclared voter who did not vote in 2020. Marta, what's your question?
Hi, Mr. President.
Hi, thank you.
So my question is, what do you think about the United States' current debt situation, and how can we move forward?
Such an important question. So we're at $33 trillion, a number that nobody ever thought possible. When we had our economy rocking and rolling just prior to COVID coming in, like literally, we were making a fortune. And oil, we were going to make so much money from oil, we were going to start paying off debt. But then with COVID coming in, we had to do other things. We had to keep this country alive because it was so serious. But we have to get the country back. We have to lower energy prices. We have to lower interest rates. Interest rates are through the roof. Energy has to come down. It all has to come down, and we have to start paying off debt. But when we have a debt limit, and they use that very seriously to me. They came in, Schumer came in with Nancy Pelosi, and they were using, we'll violate it, we'll do whatever. They talked a whole lot different than they do right now. I say to the Republicans out there, congressmen, senators, If they don't give you massive cuts, you're going to have to do a default. And I don't believe they're going to do a default because I think the Democrats will absolutely cave because you don't want to have that happen. But it's better than what we're doing right now because we're spending money like drunken sailors.
So just to be clear, Mr. President, you think the U.S. should default if the White House does not agree to the spending cuts Republicans are demanding?
You might as well do it now because you'll do it later. Because we have to save this country. Our country is dying. Our country is being destroyed by stupid people, by very stupid people.
You once said that using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge just could not happen. You said that when you were in the Oval Office.
That's when I was president.
So why is it different now that you're out of office?
Because now I'm not president.
The U.S. defaulting would be massively consequential for everyone in this room, for all Americans.
You don't know. It's psychological. It's really psychological more than anything else. And it could be very bad. It could be maybe nothing. Maybe it's you have a bad week or a bad day. But look, you have to cut your costs. We're spending $7 trillion on, much of it on nonsense. $7 trillion on nonsense.
We've got another question
said,
from a voter tonight.
Get all of that money that was wasted, and frankly, the Senate should have never approved it. Get all that money that was wasted, and if they don't get rid of that, you'll have to default. Okay?
Mr. President, we've got another voter here tonight.
And by the way, you're going to default eventually anyway, but it's going to be much messier. I don't think you'll have to default. I think if the Republicans hold strong and they say we want let's say we want $5 trillion off, I really think the Democrats have no choice but to do it.
So first of all, I always get some people in the comment section saying, why are they calling him President Trump? He's not the current president. Just so everybody's clear, any former president can still be addressed as president because they were a president. They always carry the title of president for life. So whether you call him former president or President Trump or President Obama or President Bush or anything like that, former president or president, either one is correct because they're a president for life, whether it's a former president or whether they're in office or not, either one is politically correct. So everybody's on the same page there. But former President Donald Trump says that we're going to default sooner or later, if you heard what he said, which is unbelievable. If that actually happens, we're looking at a financial meltdown like we have never seen before. You heard the interviewer there say Social Security payments could be delayed, was literally one of the first things she said. We've heard senators, the president say this. We've heard this time and time again. Stock market would collapse, bond market would collapse, world markets would collapse, interest rates would rise, up to 8 million jobs would be lost. And he's saying that Republicans should do this if the Democrats don't give everything that they want to Republicans. This is also the stance that House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is holding. So you guys can let me know your thoughts on this. Yeah, we're getting close to this. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. Will it happen this time? You guys can let me know your thoughts. It's possible. I also found it ironic that he said when he was president that the debt limit should not be a tool to negotiate over when he was president. But now that he's not president, he said we should just default on the debt. Can't make this stuff up. It's absolutely unbelievable. Can you imagine if he was president and the other side was doing this while he was president? Yeah, it would just be, I just can't make this stuff up, right, guys? Yeah. Heaven forbid if he becomes president again and the other side wants to do this to him, he'd be fit for a straitjacket. Also, the U.S. has disrupted a Russian cyber espionage scheme that was campaigning, targeting dozens of countries here the other day. I have so much stuff here. It's unbelievable, right? Yes, this was a pretty big thing here. Take a look here. The Department of Justice announced that it had disrupted a Russian cyber espionage group that had allegedly released a sophisticated malware known as Snake onto computer networks across the world. The agency attributed the malware to Turla, a hacking unit with Russia's Federal Security Service, FSB, for nearly 20 years. Turla used the malware to steal sensitive information from hundreds of computers in at least 50 countries, including members of NATO. Quote, the Justice Department, together with international partners, has dismantled a global network of malware-infected computers that the Russian government, has used for nearly 2 decades to conduct cyber espionage, including against NATO allies, Attorney General Merrick Garland said in a statement. Wow. The Justice Department said it obtained a search warrant from a U.S. court authorizing it to remotely access the compromised computers and disable the malware. The FBI said it plans to notify all owners and operators of computers that were compromised. This is the latest of the DOJ takedown of a cybercrime group. In January, the department announced it has dismantled an international ransomware group responsible for extorting more than $100 million in payments from organizations based in the U.S. and around the world in a separate group dismantlement as well. This ransomware group was known as Hive, had targeted more than 1,500 victims as well. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything happening here in our country on a daily basis. If you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button and then the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos here. And thank you for liking and sharing our videos as well. Here's some videos you should watch next. Americans are stunned at what just happened between Biden and Trump. And you can see what just happened at the border here today. Pretty shocking. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.